We're back. I don't know what's wrong with that fucking thing. But anyway, some Red and Terror news. What have we got today? Well, the first one we picked out, Red, was you sent it over to me, an article from The Grip, I think it was it? Former Belgian MP sentenced to a year in jail and fined 16,000 over racist memes. What can you tell us about this before we get into
it? Turns out, right, that he didn't send the memes. The memes were just in the chat. He was in the chat that the memes were sent.
So was this like a WhatsApp group or something like that?
Yeah, there's like a WhatsApp group. So somebody put a couple of that they're saying racist. Now again, that maybe they were racist, maybe they're just what they describe as racist, which could be anything. Let's be honest with you. No, maybe if you were racist. But because he was in the chat, and obviously the thing is, with WhatsApp, you store on your phone anyway. So because he was in the chat, he didn't send them, and he got arrested over it, and then sentenced to a year in jail and
16 grand. I mean, if he had got in front of Judge Nolan, he might have got suspended. No, actually, he would have got about 10 years in front of him. Yeah. If he'd actually fucking raped someone or something, he probably would have got the suspended sentence. But so basically, what we're looking at here, Red, is possibly a view into the future of Ireland under the hate speech laws.
Absolutely, it's a great example of it.
I'm in lots of WhatsApp groups, football groups, and shit like that. Some absolutely decrepit stuff gets sent. I'd be looking through me. I'd be like, where the fuck did that? What's the? You know what I mean? There'd be some awful shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To be then arrested and charged with hate crime on the back of that. This is where we're heading. This is what we're looking at. This is a good view into what the potential outcomes, despite what the likes of Helen McEntee would all tell you, oh, this is what it's going to be for, this is what it's going to be for. This is actually what it's going to be for. Stuff like this, taking out political opponents, taking out the centres within alternative media and voices within the Twitter sphere and stuff like that who are engaging in anti-immigration, far right, stuff like that.
Anti-establishment.
Fair to say. I think that's fair to say where it's going to head. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is a great example of what people in Ireland need to have to expect. And a lot of people will be thinking as well. It's like that whole thing about the Garda. It's like, well, if you've nothing to hide, then you're fine. And because I don't worry about it, because I'm fine. It's like, yeah, until you are caught with it, until you say the wrong person. Because as well, it's like with the referendum, they're being so careful not to put a definition on anything, not to rationally
done that, left it vague for this reason.
Exactly, and this is what I'm saying. But this is why people don't seem to kind of be like, people should be up in arms about fucking this hate speech law, but they're a bit it's like, listen, they're going to leave that as open as possible for interpretation, but it's not your interpretation or our interpretation or society's interpretation. It's their interpretation, it's the WEF's interpretation, and it's the far leftist activist interpretation. That's who it is. Like, again, you're not going to have somebody that would say to me, like, oh, you're a far right scumbag, and I say, officer, hate speech, lock them up, and the guard would be like, oh, what? No, that didn't say anything bad. I was like, no, was it a compliment? No, they were saying hateful speech to me.
Alternatively,
no, it doesn't apply. But if I respond, and because I'm a far right,
I'd say a Catholic person standing in front of an abortion clinic silently praying, that would be hate speech.
Yeah, they leave it open to interpretation. But like, what I'm saying is, it's going to be completely one-sided. They're not the LGBTQ activists. A lot of them people are very hateful towards anyone that doesn't agree with them. Let's be honest, and they're not going to be the ones that are brought in for hate speech. So this is what people need to understand. And then, as you're saying, it'll be used for, even Garda. The whole the Garda have to, smell of weed, I have suspicion, come here and go and search you now. All the Garda going to say, I thought you overheard them hate speech, and then so we had to stop him, and then it became an investigation, and then he got a little bit leery, so now we're arresting him under Section 4.
Well,
But
as you know, under it'd be like hand over your phone and your passwords. If you don't, you'd be facing a year in prison.
Yeah.
Why? Why, officer? Because I said so. Oh no, hate speech.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you could be
and then
walking down the
for
road,
saying that, they'll arrest you, and then they will find something. A chat between you and your crazy American friend that's absolutely fucking nuts, and they're saying all this shit, and you're like, all right, chief.
Well, when it's open to interpretation, when it's that vague, you'll find anything. You'll find a mess back and forth that you could clearly say, look, that was a joke or whatever. Wouldn't matter. Wouldn't matter. You know what I mean? So,
see those like 4 laughing, crying, laughing emojis that I put at the end of it. That's to signify that I'm joking, like. And they're like, "Oh no, well you said the word
racist or something," you know what I mean?
But it's going to be open to it's going to be like it's not going to be used for our good. Now it could be. This is like here's the flip side of the hate speech thing, right? So let's imagine, if you will, the red dog goes, right, I'm setting up a bleeding political party. I'm sick of these motherfuckers, and then everyone is like, do you know what? Dub life was deadly. Let's vote for red. Right, so by some bizarre, I kind of set up a good, strong political party, and then I get in. I'm the top dog. Red is Taoiseach. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say, right, you see that hate speech law that just brought in? These are all guilty of it, and I would start locking every single one of them up on hate speech laws. And then what they would literally be doing is they would be saying what we're saying now. Oh my God, you can't do this. This is fascism. This is authoritarian, totalitarian. This is all these things. It's like, yeah, but like, nobody likes laws. It's easy when it's you doing it, but when you're on the other end of it, you can't then change your logic. Oh, well, no, when we do it, it's fine, but when you do it, it's dictatorship.
But that's life in general, you know what I mean? It's everything's.
It's so bizarre. Like, there's no. This is the thing. This is what I hate about the far left emotion. There's no.
The only part
I
disagree with you there is if you were running. If I was running politically in Ireland, I wouldn't be.
Hold on a second. Did you say you disagree with me?
The only thing I disagree with, the only part of that I disagree with, is I wouldn't be running on a platform if I want to be Taoiseach of Ireland. I would want to be overlord dictator of Ireland.
I know you do that afterwards, and you use the hate speech law.
No, I'd be open about it. I'd be open about it. I'm running for dictatorship. It's the only way it's going to work. You know what I mean? There is no democracy as it stands anyway. Let's be honest. So it may as well be a dictatorship, and like flip a coin on whether it's going to be a good one or a bad one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But again, it's all perspective, because to them, what they have is a good one, and we have a bad one. And then when we get in charge, we have a good one, and to them, it's a bad one. So, but like when they do it, it's perfectly fine and logical. When we do it, it's
honest, Red. It will be honest, and you need to start from a foundation of honesty with your subjects as you rule over them with an iron fist.
I'm glad I'm you and me.
Right. I don't think we need to pull up the story on that. We've fairly covered that. The next one.
Also, can I say shout out Grip Media, because they're
it's all Grip Media. Shout out Ben and all the boys. Great job. This one: children to no longer be prescribed puberty blockers. The NHS in England confirms. While in Ireland, they're trying to force through puberty blocker use.
But why were they banned?
Well, we can pull up the story, and I actually will pull up the story. That was probably the last story. Give me 1 second there. Children to no longer be prescribed puberty blockers. The decision comes after an independent review of services for children under 18 and a sharp rise in referrals to the Gender Identity Development Service run by the Tavistock, lovely bunch of people, and Portman NHS Foundation Trust, which is closing at the end of March. Children will no longer be prescribed puberty blockers at gender identity clinics. Puberty blockers, which pause the physical changes of puberty, such as breast development or facial hair, will now only be available to children as part of clinical research trials. Just send your child in for clinical research. The government said it welcomed the landmark decision, adding it would help ensure care is based on evidence and is in the best interest of the child. It follows a public consultation on the issue and the interim policy, and comes from the NHS England Commission, an independent review of gender identity service for children under 18 in 2020. Is there anything there as to why other than that? No. Lack of long-term evidence on what happens to young people prescribed blockers, adding that GIDS had not gathered routine and consistent data, meaning it was not possible to accurately track the outcomes and pathways that children and young people take through the service. Shock horror. Around 5,000 children currently on the waiting list for referral into new clinics. Use development of physical, taking them the early puberty. I mean, looking here, it doesn't really. There's nothing really standing out as to why.
So they're afraid to say because it's harmful to children.
Well, yeah. Other than we have no real long-term information on the outcome to children. So
no, but you know there is data on though. There's data on that. Like if you just let these kids go through puberty naturally, I think it's like 94% of them just end up either being gay or boy or just normal. You know what I mean?
Well,
like
I've seen that in America, is it at least 50% of children, I think especially males, that go through the change have committed suicide or are suicidal or something like that.
Yeah,
so
well, that's the suicide rate wise, there's absolutely no evidence to suggest that surgery or this sort of stuff stops suicide, first and foremost, right? And then second of all,
our argument is usually based on, are you trying to murder children by not letting them cut their penises off? That's
but this is the point I was going to get to. This is the point I was going to get to. So what they're doing is, like, and listen, if you let if these 5,000 children, right, if they're just they taken off the list, let them naturally just go through puberty as it is, without again the parents of these people should be locked up because they're I'm gonna say of them 5,000, there's at least 4,000 of them. It's not the kid, it's the adult pushing it onto the kid, right? But even it's saying that if these kids were just left, and this is what the studies so far suggest, if these kids were just all right, well, look, come back when you're 18 and see how you're feeling. 94% of them will come back and say, no, do you know what? I'm actually so glad you didn't put me through that because blah, blah. And then the other 4% or 6% or whatever will be saying, yeah, well, do you know what? I actually still feel like I'm trapped inside another body. I think I will opt for the surgery. Perfect. There's no problem with that, right? You're an adult. You can make that decision for yourself. But the fact that these are forcing this on children, like they're using these children as guinea pigs. Like these children say, like, there's no data. These children are the data. They're literally willing to sacrifice these children for an ideology. And they're saying that we're in the cult. We're the ones in the cult, like.
In the article, they literally said that we don't perform this treatment, but we do run clinical trials, so you can join our clinical trials. So you're literally a guinea pig.
Yeah,
that's what you are. Yeah.
No, but the fact
do you ever see that? Come here. Do you ever see that Irish bird over in America that performs? What do they call it? She's the fucking butcher or something like that. She's the one who performs all these top surgeries and bottom surgeries and stuff like that. She's
genital mutilation. It's child genital mutilation, not top surgery, not bottom surgery. Call it what it is. She performs child genital mutilation. As you were.
Like she's on TikTok and all, and she's fairly famous off the back of it. Like, do you ever see any of her videos or anything like that?
I've seen somebody talk about her before.
She looks like she is possessed by a fucking demon. She is the epitome of evil, and an evil scientist, you know what I mean? She looks like she takes pleasure in mutilating young children. And for me, this whole thing seems to have this sadomasochistic element to it, where it's literally dirty old men and women who want to they get off on the castration of young boys and the mutilation of young girls. That's what it seems. It's all like hypersexual for them. You know what I mean? They love this. They love manipulating and twisting young minds and fucking confusing them and then butchering them. That's what it looks like. That's what it seems to be like. Like, this is all being fed into young kids' minds. This is why they want it in the schools in Ireland. They want to start teaching them younger and younger. That little cunt Norma Foley wanting to promote it as curriculum within the school so that it's taught to young minds from a young age that you could just be confused. You may just be a boy inside a girl's body or a girl inside a boy's body. Remember that. And then kids go, Oh, am I? Because they're so impressionable from an early age.
And
They
then they're
need to
watching
be,
TikTok and you want to be like TikTok.
and they need to be taught these things from an early age because it's so unnatural and outside the natural order of things. It needs to be indented into them at a young age to
But
take
yeah,
root.
because you know what they say, you know what the saying goes, the left don't have kids, they have yours. And that's kind of what it is. Because ironically, this could be, I mean, if we were harsh people, which we're not, we're gentlemen, I think. I think you're lovely.
Oh, well,
If but if we were in if we were as bad as they say we were, we could be looking at this like saying, do you know what? This is great because we're having children. We're not sterilizing them and we're not aborting them. We're having kids and we're raising them with our values. This is great because these crackpots it will die with them. They're not having kids. Do you know what I mean? Like, so
yeah.
that's kind of how we should be looking at. So in 20, 30 years, when all these weirdos are like single with cats are dead, because let's be honest, the suicide rate, they're all mentally ill. So the suicide rate, even on the far left, is quite high, regardless of sexuality or fucking gender. So these are all going to, like, they're killing themselves off. Basically, their ideology will die with them because, and now they've realised that, and that's why they're coming after our kids, because it's like, oh, well, we need to further this. Now, we haven't got kids to teach this shit to ourselves. Well, or a lot of us don't, because the ones that do are teaching. These are the 5,000 kids, because there is some of them. But the other ones that are like, we need to push this on your kids and society to make it normal. But it's not normal. It'll never be normal. And the reason that's never been normal is because you're wrong. What you're, like, the premise of your entire argument is wrong. So everything after that is just, you know what I mean? It's an iceberg. It's a big iceberg on a breadstick, is what it is. It's like, and that's why they don't want to have the. It's why they don't want to have the debates. It's why they don't want to have the conversations. It's why they shut everything down. Like, as I'm saying, I'm the bad guy because I think genital mutilation on children is bad. They've somehow made that out that I'm the bad guy because I'm against that. It's,
well, you're a bigot.
Mentally.
Of course, you're a bigot and a racist or whatever.
Okay, but it's like that. Okay, but you're trying to mutilate a child. So whatever you say to, like, I'm glad you don't like me because we're not the same. Like,
I think this is a lot of the problem on our side is, it's like you're trying to rationalize with crazy people. And you're trying to get them to see your point. I don't care what you're rendered mute your opinion now. If you have a fucking rainbow flag or a Ukrainian flag or a Palestinian flag or something in your bio and stuff like that, I don't want to even hear what your opinion is. I don't even care what your opinion is. You've already shown what you like. It's fool on me for even considering your opinion, or fool on me for even trying to enter into some sort of logical negotiation or discussion on ideas and stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's like, why bother? I don't care what your opinion is. You're into child mutilation, as you would say. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's I want you to dislike me. We are not the same. Like, we are literally on separate ends of the spectrum. So if you don't like me, I take it as a compliment, because I don't want people, like, my whole persona is to make sure that people like you don't like me, because you're the fucking epitome of evil. Because even if this all turns out, like, what happens tomorrow if they're saying, like, oh, well, you know, we're doing this because we're here for trans kids' lives, and it turns out that you're after murdering all these kids.
It usually turns out that
no, but this is what I'm saying. But let's say we have
they were using for, it's sick.
Well, let's say we get the numbers and we get the facts and we say it to them. You are now responsible for all these dead people. How do you, like, how are you still thinking you're the good guy here? You're not. You're not. Like, you're not the good guy. And this is why my stance on it now. I'm not accepting the premise that you're the good guy because you've asserted that. You know what? I'm asserting I'm the good guy. How about that? That equals that. Now, do you want to have a conversation on it? No, you want to just call insults? Fine. Call me what you want. You're the stuff that you're.
Go back to our last story then, and the last bit was what they want to do was, rather than have this discussion, or rather than come to a rational, logical fucking conclusion with it, they want to stop you from being able to speak your hateful, bigoted narrative and call it hate speech and shut you down for it. That's where we're going with it, you know what I mean?
And you know, and here's the irony, right? So here's the irony. had this hate speech laws, like if these are all coming in way beforehand, it would have been illegal to call out this Tavistock place, and they'd still be able to do it, and they'd still be able to experiment on these children.
It
And
was the
these hate
exposure
speech
of it
laws
that is.
would be protecting and all these 5,000 children now would be on a chopping block,
And the
all
problem
because of
is,
hate speech laws to save people's feelings.
but you have an institution in the UK that's being shut down because of what it was involved in. But yet in Ireland, they want to ramp up the amount of kids they're sending over there. They're not going, oh shit, wait, what was the credibility of this institution? What were they involved in? Why are they being shut down in the UK? It's like, oh no, we need to send more kids over there. We need to start ramping this up. Like, of course, Ireland's always on the end of the spectrum. As a thing cycling out, they're cycling into it because we're fucking such retards and so far behind on everything. But we've one more story here. If we want to jump into it quickly, again, shout out to the Gripped. This is a common occurrence with the HSE. Another data breach. They tend to lose data quite easily in the HSE, don't they?
Yeah, they have like what you must have just like NordVPN or some little shitty firewall. That's their protection. Like
they fucking probably don't even have a firewall. They could do it NordVPN. What, they're not sponsors of this show, but Red recommends them. He uses them.
Oh yeah, I got them through me Revolut Premium, to be honest with you. So yeah.
So
not sponsored by them either, but they're both quite handy.
Let me pull this up here. Not that one. It will be this one. We'll run through it quickly. Again, shout out to the lads in the Gripped. The HSE has admitted that a glitch affecting a COVID-related database. Remember, a lot of their COVID-related databases disappeared, didn't they? Weakened security around the vaccination details of over 1 million people. Oh, I'm not on the list. What'll I do? The health service reportedly misconfigured the database in December 2021, which opened up the details of over 1 million people to potential exploitation. Despite the vulnerability, no personal data was accessed by hackers. The health body, however, did not make the Data Protection Commissioner aware of the issue, which was only made aware of the security failure this week as a result of contact from the Irish Independent. Great bunch of people over there. The DPC is now examining the issue, and if it is determined the breach occurred, a further an investigation of the investigation could be opened, and questions may be asked about why it was not notified on the issue sooner. Awesome stuff. Aaron Costello, an external security researcher, noticed the vulnerability and explained that the glitch allowed third parties to access vaccinated citizens' personal information. I don't really care on what his fucking opinion is now either. I'm sure he got a nice fucking hefty lump sum for his work within the HSE on a government contract that definitely went out to tender, and he's probably not linked to someone within the government. But anyway, I mean, is there anything to say on that story? Like,
did it say there that they tried to hide it, but it got leaked?
No, they just didn't inform them that it happened, and then it got leaked.
See, that's what I'm saying. We do shit like small shit like this, and we're fucking locked up. These cunts get away with this, like.
Man, you don't pay
this is your job, and you're failing.
You break into someone's house in the middle of the night and try and rape them, and you're a man from Galway. You're okay. White collar crime, absolutely acceptable. Unless you're a member of the opposition, which Ireland doesn't have, so you'd never go to jail. But if you were a member of an oppositional party in Belgium or something, you would go to jail.
So, so crazy. So crazy. How are we losing this fucking culture war, man? It's crazy.
You're just trying to figure. You need to figure out the rules. That's the problem. Once you understand the rules of clown,
the rules are there are no rules.
No, the rules are do what we say, and if we don't like it, we may change the rules at a later date.
Well, it's not that they're changing the rules; they're just changing the definition of words. That's kind of what it is. The words that we, they're just no longer apply anymore. Like it's it's just bleeding crazy. But this thing as well. Like again, it's hard to be sympathetic towards them, to be honest with you. But because we're the nice guys, we will be. We'll be saying like these. Administrations or these, whatever you want to fucking call them, are responsible for the protection of people's data. So they have a duty of care. And when they fail, it's a big deal. Like, people need to get fired. There needs to be criminal investigations.
Yeah.
There needs to be fucking, like, I mean, if let's say I was dumb enough to have gone through with that, like, ridiculous fucking psyop that you just went through the past couple of years. Let's say I was a part of that, one of those people. I'd be straight on saying, like, is my name on that? Is my data gone? What data was it? How much money can I sue you for? I'm getting onto a solicitor. If I find out that my data's on that, I'm going to sue you into oblivion. And there's a million people, so we're going to get a million people.
I want $150 million.
We're going to get a million people. Well, not a million people, because most of them, let's be honest, are probably.
You don't do class actions in Ireland, though. That's the problem. You're not allowed to do a class action, and you're not allowed to sue a state body unless the state decides to bring a case on behalf of you to sue itself. Which is
maybe Taoiseach, maybe Taoiseach, and I'll do it for you. Just give me a shout.
Make me dictator. I will scorch it all and live lavishly.
You will
live lavishly. Right, we'll wrap that up there. Anyway, cheers to everyone for tuning in, and we'll be back with some other stuff in the near future.